What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're rolling right along with our 7-round team mock drafts for the 2024 NFL Draft. I believe that after today, after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe I only have 5 left. I put it on a little bit of a hold just because of free agency. I mean, I had a great Green Bay Packers mock draft, but then, of course, free agency started the next day, and Cooper DeJean was my first pick, and then they went out and got Xavier McKinney, and then Braylon Allen was one of my picks. They went and got Josh Jacobs. So I wanted to kind of keep it to this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a perfect team because they spent the majority of their money, for the most part, on bringing players back. So I don't know how much they're going to really go out and get more free agents. I mean, they'll probably pick up a free agent here and there, but for the most part, like today, they recently just picked up Jordan Whitehead. That's been only their second signing outside of the re-signing process. So I don't know how much they're going to do. So I was comfortable making this video today, and I'm really excited. They got some holes along the offensive line, so we're definitely going to try and fill those holes correctly through the draft. And let's get started on the 7-round mock. And we're sitting here at pick number 26, obviously where the Bucs start their draft. And I got to be honest with you, even though they only have 7 picks, this is a really nice 7 that they have. They have 5 picks inside the top 125. Usually, if you know me, if you know this channel, if you know this series, you know I love to close the gaps between picks. 125 and 220 is a little bit too much of a gap for me. So maybe with one of these later picks, maybe even 125, we'll move down slightly to pick up a pick to kind of close the gap. But for the most part, I'm pretty comfortable with this 7. These 2 third-round picks here are really, really nice, between 89 and 92. So at number 26, there's a lot of players that I really like. Johnny Newton would kind of be like best player available. Don't really know if we need another defensive lineman as of right now. Chop Robinson there's only a couple players that really intrigue me here at number 26. Chop Robinson is definitely one of them. But if you look at the current depth chart with all the free agents, the Buccaneers pass rush is pretty full for the most part. I know that shouldn't really dictate anything. Chop Robinson's a phenomenal athlete. A lot of ways that a lot of these teams draft nowadays is high RAS scores. I understand that. Chop Robinson is a little bit maybe of a project, someone that you could mold into a fantastic football player. But as of right now, he's a little green. I don't know if that's really the way to go, especially after heavily investing in the pass rush last year, getting Kalijah Kancey, getting Yaya Diaby, 2 guys that really, really blossomed in their rookie years. I think we're going to hold off on that. I don't even think it's a need, to be honest with you. Edge being the top need here doesn't really make too much sense to me. So maybe depth, maybe later on down the board. Honestly, I'm looking at like 220, 246 to kind of improve the edge, because it really is pretty deep between the defensive line and the outside linebackers. It's a pretty deep position for them, honestly. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were 10th in sacks in the NFL last year as well. So I'm not super pressed to improve on that position. But at number 26, got to go offensive line here. There's a lot of players that I like a lot, but Zach Frazier is going to be the pick here for me at number 26. It just makes too much sense. Ryan Jensen retired. They have some decent options on the interior of the offensive line. To me, there's no better pure center prospect in the entire draft class than Zach Frazier. So a lot of people might think that he'll be available in round 2 here. He will not be available at pick number 57. This, to me, is one of the biggest needs on the entire team. So let's get it out of the way early here. 26, we're going to take Zach Frazier. All right, so we're sitting here at number 57, and there's a couple needs that I'd love to get out of the way. I know that Levante David just re-signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lifelong Buccaneer, you got to love it, and still playing at such a high level at his age. KJ Britt is slotted to be the other inside linebacker that is going to start. I don't love that long term. I'm looking at the linebackers, though. I'm not seeing anyone quite right now that I'm willing to take number 57 pick on here. If maybe Edgerrin Cooper was here at 57. No, not maybe. Definitely. If he was here at 57, I would take him. But we're going to hold off on that for a while. There's a player that fits an immediate need that's on the board still, and that's Max Melton here. Awesome player. He really proved that he could run with the best of them at the combine. 4.39 40-yard dash. tested out very, very well athletically. He's got the measurables, 6'1", I believe, about 195 pounds around that. And they play some funky coverages at Rutgers as well. So you got to be a smart football player. He's got a high football IQ as well. This is someone that's been on my radar for a really long time now. And this kind of fits perfectly that boundary corner that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need now that not only they kind of had a hole at that last season, now they traded Carlton Davis as well. So I'm going to fill that boundary corner need here at number 57 with Max Melton. All right, so we're at number 89 now, and I talked about the linebacking position so much already. So I'm going to pull the trigger here at number 89. This is a perfect spot for where I think Jeremiah Trotter Jr. should come off the board. One thing that you need to know if you don't know about Tampa Bay linebackers or the way that they look at the linebacker position, you have to be someone that is a good blitzer. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr. actually has 12 sacks over the past 2 seasons from the linebacker position. Now, he's a little bit small-ish for, a blitzing linebacker, I guess you'd say, but not really in the grand scheme of things. 6 foot, 230 pounds really isn't that small, to be quite honest with you, but he's incredibly explosive as an athlete. He's a good coverage linebacker as well. He's going to be someone that does 2 things really, really well for you, and then in run support, he's tenacious. He's just, not the best with his pursuit angles and everything. That needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But in terms of blitzing, he's awesome. He's an explosive athlete. He's a really good coverage linebacker as well. I think this is a really good long-term fill for the Levante David or the KJ Britts of the world. We're cooking with gas here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now at number 92, back-to-back, basically, third-round picks here. I'm going to go back to the offensive line. So we got our center of the future. The interior of the offensive line still needs an upgrade, in my opinion, especially at left guard. So I'm looking at Mason McCormick here out of South Dakota State, FCS prospect. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had some success drafting FCS prospects in the past. I don't even think Ali Marpet wasn't even a FCS prospect. I believe he was just a full-blown Division II or Division III player. I don't remember what college he went to off the top of my head. It was Hobart or something like that. I'm probably wrong in saying that, but it was a very, very, very small school, and he did have a successful NFL career, and he was damn good for what he was. So I like Mason McCormick a lot. Big, mauling, nasty run blocker. This is what this team needs. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rachaad White had a really, really good season last year, but if you look at the yards per carry, this was a terrible run blocking unit. So I think their tackles pretty much bookended. Tristan Wirfs, of course, one of the better left tackles in the NFL. Luke Goedeke was actually a really, really solid right tackle this past year as well. So I think he's good over there. You got to fortify the interior of the offensive line. Mason McCormick, someone that comes with a ton of experience. South Dakota State, over 3,200 snaps played in his collegiate career. He's just going to kind of slide right in there and be a perfect starting option on the left side of that offensive line. All right, at 125 here, there's a bevy of different ways that we can go here. I'm looking at wide receiver. Right away, you look at Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the field together, and you're thinking, oh, you need a slot option, which could be necessarily true, but these are wide receivers that move all along the offense. I believe it was Chris Godwin had about 32% of his routes ran last season were out of the slot, about 293 routes out of the slot. It's probably a higher percentage than that, honestly, but I believe the number was 293 routes, or 293 snaps, rather, out of the slot last season for Chris Godwin. So I'm going to hold off on that. I'm looking for another big body wide receiver on the outside. I really love Javon Baker here. Let's just take a look at some of the other areas that we could potentially look at here. A couple players that really intrigue me. At number 125, Kidden Oladapo is someone that has amazing size, typical box safety here, could really take over for Jordan Whitehead after this one-year deal is over. Jaden Hicks as well, another money backer type of player, and very interesting. Javon Solomon was a player, Jackson Hunt. These guys really, really intrigue me here, but I think this passing attack needs another option here. I think Trey Palmer is pretty good for the most part as a wide receiver 4. He could potentially, go into that wide receiver 3 role. Honestly, you know what? Maybe I will kind of hold off on that. I really think Kidden Oladapo is the way to go. I'll add a wide receiver later on, but now the more that I think about it, I think that they have a formidable 3. He's more than capable of taking over. I like Kidden Oladapo here. He offers a lot. He's a great box safety, great tackler as well. Just Fantastic vision, fantastic eyes, 6'2", 216 pounds, good speed as well. I believe 4.56 speed. Just an overall really, really good player that kind of got sort of overlooked so far in this draft process. So that's who I'm going to go with here. I'm going to go with more secondary help for this team. I'm taking Kitten Oladapo here. At number 220, I just said it, I'm going to add a wide receiver. I'm going to add a slot option here at number 220. Someone that is just, he really improved. I don't want to say improved his draft stock because he's, just a slot option at the next level, and the production just wasn't there in college for the most part. But Anthony Gold is on the board here at 220, 5'8", 175 pounds, purely a slot option, 4.39 speed. He's a good route runner as well, just a really good overall athlete. And I think I completely forgot about Trey Palmer talking about that last pick. That's really funny how that works out. But yeah, this is a perfect wide receiver 4, or someone that could just get some meaningful slot snaps when, Chris Godwin is out on the outside. So comes with good speed, a really viable deep threat as well. So we're going to take Anthony Gold here at 220. With our last pick at 246, I'm going to add a developmental edge rusher that I think could have some real high upside with pro-level coaching. JMU's edge rusher Jalen Green, he had 15.5 sacks this past season for JMU's debut season in the FBS. Him and Jomri Chroma formed an unbelievable duo along the defensive line. He's a little small, 6'3", 235 pounds. He's someone that's going to come in purely pass rushing situations. He's got good speed, good athleticism as well. Someone that's probably going to be like a 1 to 2 down player for the most part, purely pass rushing scenarios at this point in his development. But at 246, I'm willing to take a swing and try and hit a home run here with the last pick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There's your full 7-round Tampa Bay Buccaneers mock draft. Let's recap it real quick. At number 26, we took Zach Frazier. At 57, we took Max Melton. 89, we took Jeremiah Trotter Jr. 92, we took Mason McCormick. 125, we took Kitten Oladapo. 220, we took Anthony Gold. And 246, we took Jalen Green. I hope you guys enjoyed today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you again for watching today, and I hope I see you in the next one.